Hello and welcome to another Video Games to the Max. This is number 151, and I am your host, Sean Garmer, here with me, as usual, Mr. Marc Morrison.
Howdy.
So, what has been going on?
Nothing. Playing games like usual.
Well, I know you told me you finally beat Horizon Zero Dawn.
Yeah, a few days ago I beat it this one night out of kind of boredom.
Do you have any, now that, the story is over, I'm sure there's other extra things to do, but
No,
now the story's done, do you have any kind of final thoughts on it, or?
I don't like the hunting trials because they're time based and they're really dumb. Um, it's a good game, good story. Kind of. I think the story is it's weird because the actual story is kind of dumb or just kind of formulaic. But the stuff surrounding it is pretty good, the backstories or the content you find in the world, stuff like that.
So why are the so do they not give you enough time on the hunting trials, or?
Well, no, it's just complete the trial in 1:30, 1 minute and 30 seconds to get the gold medal, 2 minutes to get the silver, 3 minutes to get the bronze, and I just don't like content like that where it's very just time based.
That seems weird in a game like that. We're gonna have medals that you can earn and stuff. Just
Yeah.
it seems like it would take you out of the element of what you're doing.
Yeah. I didn't 100% the game or anything. I still have to do those, and I have to get a lot of collectibles. But other than that, I did every side mission, every errand that I found, stuff like that.
So how long do you think it took you to beat it?
Probably about 35 hours, 40 hours.
That's pretty meaty for a, not RPG. So.
Well, I mean, it's it'd be best described as an open world RPG. I mean, you have skill points and everything, so.
Yeah, okay, that's fair enough then. But it's more action-y, obviously.
Oh yeah. And some of the robots are just a pain in the ass to hunt down.
So do you feel like it forces you to get the robots, or is it just kind of?
Well, the mission would be eliminate this robot, so I would say yes.
Oh, okay. I just didn't know what are the. So are most of the missions just eliminating robots, or is it?
Side missions break down into one of three kind of varieties. There's kill humans, which is really easy because a headshot will take care of any human. Follow the trail. You'll see, you can get a glowing trail in the world and just follow it to, some place you have to examine stuff. But it's really basic, and it's just a lot of follow this around until something happens. And the third is kill the robot or kill the group of robots that's attacking something or bothering people.
But I mean, when you're not, does it sort of feel like it's pulling you towards or does it feel like you're just walking around and the robots kind of happen to be there? Or?
The second one, there's no real safe areas in the game. I mean, there are cities and stuff for sure, but once you get out in the open, if you try to fast travel to a certain fire places, you fast travel by campfire. So some of those campfires are just kind of swarming with robots. So it's well, good luck. They're not hard, but it's just combat actually kind of got annoying after a while because it's just all right, I get it. I have this arrow that does a lot of damage, so I guess I'll just keep firing at it until it eventually wear it down.
So that's what you used a lot, was just the range stuff, not necessarily close.
Well, melee's pretty lackluster. You only have a light attack and a heavy attack. The stealth is good in the game, but at a certain point it tops out. You can't stealth kill a big robot You only like knock it down a little. Uh, but yeah, I used ranged quite heavily.
Well, I mean, so do you think that the game deserves all the great
Oh yeah,
praise it's been getting?
oh yeah. Except for I found it pretty not overtly buggy, but I did have a few instances where like I would get stuck in the environment, including the last goddamn mission of the game, like the final boss fight. I got stuck and had to reset, which was pretty great.
that that sucks. You didn't? Did you have to do a lot to get back to it, or just?
No, I mean it checkpointed me pretty well. Like I already knocked down like 1/3 of the boss's health. It like restarted me there, thankfully. But I was just like, yeah, that's not great.
Well, I know you're also playing the Ultimate Marvel versus Capcom 3 on the PC.
Yeah, I am pleasantly surprised. Like that game runs really well. I'm quite happy because Street Fighter 5 rather ran like garbage on my computer. I mean, granted, like Ultimate vs. Marvel Capcom 3 is, a 5-year-old game at this point, but
Right.
that's not a guarantee that it's going to run well. I mean,
Yeah, it all depends on, specs on your computer and everything. And the year doesn't matter at all. I mean, does it play very much like Marvel vs. Is there anything sort of different from the
no,
formula of the games, or just?
God, no. The two things I'll mention is the online seems a little weird. Like I thought it was fine, like a little laggy in spots, but a lot of other people have problems. But that's what the internet does, so they like to complain.
Right.
And it's funny now that I play it, like given all the Marvel movies that have come out, like looking at that roster, and like it's funny to think about like when Iron Fist is in the game, no one cared about Iron Fist, but now he has a Marvel TV show, or like Rocket Raccoon is in the game, and no one cared about him before.
Did
But
they
now,
have the cartoons by then though?
what do you mean?
Did they? Because I mean, didn't that game is 5 years old? I'm trying to think
Yeah.
if they had the Disney cartoons.
Oh no,
by
God
then.
no. Yeah, it was way.
Okay.
That was, uh, and like Doctor Strange is in it, and stuff like that. It's just really weird now. Like you look at it and like, what is Shuma Gorath gonna get like a movie now?
Right.
But the game still is really fun, really fast. Like there's no frame rate drops at all, even on my computer, which I'm really happy about. The only thing that's a little slow is the menu, which is weird. But I rather enjoy it, truth be told. Like, it's still a good game. I still want Marvel vs. Capcom 2 on PC also. So, if you're listening, Capcom, put that out, please. Or any of those old, like, Marvel vs. Capcom games would be good.
I wonder if that will reset the license, if they can do that, or if it's just only for that one game.
Well, you have to imagine that they might have had a provision with the new Marvel vs. Capcom to say, hey, let's put the old ones out on PC.
Yeah, especially with, Marvel, they basically had to renew it with Marvel Ultimate Alliance 1 and 2, so...
Yeah.
I mean, I don't see why it would be that much of a big deal to have Marvel Capcom 1 and 2 or something come in one set.
I don't think it'd be that hard of a, technology challenge to put it out. I mean, just, get networking working, that's about it.
Well, yeah, it was on, 360 and PS2 and Dreamcast, so, I mean...
Yeah.
They got various builds they can go off of.
Yeah.
I do want to say for people listening, if you hear kids screaming or dog barking, I'm by myself in the house, so I have to keep the door open. And we're doing this during the day. We're not doing this at like midnight 30 or whatever when everybody's asleep. So I kind of have to keep my door open.
Not the usual 2 a.m. where we're both kind of half asleep.
Yeah. It's nicer to have more energy. But, I mean, honestly, this is not a week where there was a ton going on. Thankfully, I did get a Nintendo Switch on launch, midnight launch. I'm lucky enough to live in between where there's two Walmarts close to me, and one of them is, I mean, both of them are big Walmarts. So I want to point that out. It's not like I have like a small little one next to me and one. It's just one of them is not as visited as the other one is because it hasn't been around as long as the other one. So I happen to get there. There's one person that's talking to somebody about, is the Switch coming out and are y'all going to have some at midnight? And I just wait there with the other guy, and then other people start coming in as it gets closer to midnight. And then they tell us that they have like 15 consoles, and they'd already set apart the pickup, the online order pickups or whatever. So I probably would have gotten my online order just fine. I just went ahead and got it right there at midnight because my online order never changed from, midnight to like Friday at 6 p.m. And I was like, well, I know I'm going to be doing stuff that Friday, so I'll just go ahead and get that and then cancel my pre-order. And I mean, they seem to have more of the neon colored ones, or not the colored ones than they did the gray ones, which was interesting. And just they didn't have a lot of game. They only had like 1-2 Switch, Just Dance, and Zelda there physically. Even though most of the games are on the eShop are digital right now anyway, so that doesn't really make a whole lot of difference. But I went ahead and bought a 200 gigabyte SD card with it, and I bought the Pro controller, and and I bought Zelda. So that's the only physical game I have. All the other games I have are digital. And I'm not going to do like a really long thing here because number one, I don't want to bore Mark, and number two, I'll probably do one separate that kind of goes through a lot more separately later. But I mean, it does what it's supposed to do. I don't think that if you're buying a Switch at this point, and I understand if you're the casual person, that's all different. But if you're a hardcore gamer listening to this show, you already know whether you want one or not. And if you bought one at launch, you're kind of like the beta tester. And I haven't run into any of the problems that a lot of people have, some people have. I don't have the problem with the Joy-Con deciding that it wants to turn itself off and you have to pair it back. I haven't had the problem with the thing with the dock. I don't understand. Like, the thing has a groove inside of it that if you're very just, you think about what you're doing and you don't let your kid just constantly take the thing in and out of the dock without any kind of thought. If you slowly put it in there and then you slowly take it out with care, you won't have the thing with the scratch on the screen. Should it be happening? No. But it's like any other kind of tablet or whatever device. I mean, if you want to really be conscious about it, get a screen protector. Just like you have on your phones, just like you have on anything else that has a screen. It's not glass, but, I mean, it's also not it's sturdy, but I wouldn't be dropping it everywhere and thinking it's going to last forever if you keep letting your kid drop it, especially on a hard floor. The kickstand is actually apparently made out of some kind of nylon glass after they took it apart. It does kind of feel flimsy at times, but the one thing that sucks is if you want to charge, like, let's say you want to charge the Pro controller while you're playing the game, or you're playing the thing on the kickstand, or you want to charge it in general while you're using it on the kickstand. You can't do that because they put the charging thing on the bottom, which that makes no sense to me. But I think it was either that or the headphone jack would be on the bottom, and I guess they thought the headphone jack being on the top was a better idea. I don't know. But, I mean, for the most part, I mean, I don't get the thing with the people complaining about the Joy-Cons. I mean, I don't have big hands, so I'll just say that. They feel great. I actually enjoy playing it while it's on the kickstand and just messing with the Joy-Cons. And obviously the best way to play it is in your hands. The dock, you can notice some of the problems. For some reason, what's funny is, like, the UI looks bad when you have it docked. Like, for some reason, the UI stays in 720, but the games play in 1080 or 900 or whatever,
It's
which
not
is
scaled. It's not scaled up correctly or something.
probably. I wonder if they'll fix that with a patch. I don't. And you also do have. I mean, they make you download these things anyway, but the SD cards will not work unless you do the day one patch. And then you also have to do a separate patch for it to recognize the SDXC cards, which are your bigger cards. So anything above 64 that you buy, you're gonna have to do that little patch. It takes about like a minute. And make sure that when you buy the SD card, this is one of the stupid things I don't understand. Hopefully they can fix this with the patch too. There is no way to move anything from either the system or from the SD card to something else. So if you don't put your SD card in before you download anything, that's stuck on your system. And it's taking up the system memory. So just letting you know that. Make sure you install the SD card first, which is really easy. All you just push the kickstand out, you just stick the SD card in there just like you would on a phone. There's no taking anything apart or whatever. It just slides right in there, and it clicks in there, and you're good to go.
You know why is they probably don't want people like getting the games somehow off the SD card and like releasing them out in the wild.
Well, yeah, I understand that point, but it's like it's still your data. Like you're asking people to buy an SD card, but then I can't move it. I mean, even with the 3DS, they made it to where you could move it onto your PC so that if you needed to get another 3DS or something happened to this is just like a 3DS. Somebody could walk by, take it, and all your stuff's gone because everything saves to the system. So,
Well, it's Nintendo, and they're not great with anything.
Yeah,
systems. Like their online thing sounds like a mess right now.
yeah, the Wi-Fi thing, that's so weird too. Like the whole if you have something in front of your Wi-Fi, like your router, you might not get Wi-Fi connection, which I haven't had the problem with it, but I've also haven't really tried to play online with some people. I played a couple of fast racing MX match or RMX matches, and it worked fine. But I mean, as far as getting into the actual games, uh, Zelda is great. It's everything everybody's saying it is. I haven't spent a lot of time with it, honestly, because I have a lot of other things I have to do. And Zelda is huge, and power to the people that have actually finished the game or whatever. But it's one of the biggest open worlds out there, and honestly, I mean, you could be there for a while trying to finish that game. I have played a lot of the other smaller games, like Shovel Knight. The treasure trove thing plays great on it. I love the Spectre Knight, the new one that came out. He just has a great ability where he can diagonal slash everywhere, where you can actually use him to get to unreachable places to get items and stuff. So the Spectre Torment one for $10, if you really just want to play with the Spectre Knight, it's actually worth it because he's pretty cool. He's a pretty cool character. What is it? The Blaster Master Zero, which is the first of the Nindies that is out. It plays very much like Blaster Master. So if you like that game, you're gonna like this game. It looks better. The weird thing to me though is like they have this girl that you get about I think a fourth way into the game in like the third area, and they're gonna make her be DLC. Like that kind of scene. That's something that I think in the old days you would have beat the game and she would have been unlocked as the second character you could play as. So that's kind of interesting that they have to go make her as DLC, especially considering all the, we're trying to be progressive and all that stuff about, girls playing games and whatnot.
Yeah, except isn't Blaster Master made by Konami?
It's made by a small little indie called Inti Creates.
Yeah, but published by Konami?
The first one was, yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Might be the reason. The racing game is actually pretty good too. Reminds you a lot of F-Zero or Wipeout. So that's $20. I think honestly, like they really could have made Snipperclips a pack-in for $20, and it wouldn't have it's 310 instead of 300, or maybe you just eat the cost and it's still 300. Because that game really, and you can play it single player, you can play it with multiple people. That game is actually what makes the system fun for co-op and stuff like that, because you have to play together to complete the puzzles. Whereas like 1-2 Switch just
Isn't
I
fun?
didn't even buy it. Like I had well, for one, I'm not in a situation where like playing with my about to be 6-year-old daughter who's starting to get into games or whatever, and my mom and some other people that are not there very often. Like my sister and her friend came over randomly, and I was playing it on the kickstand or whatnot, and I just felt like even if I was in a setting where I had people over here all the time and they could really play this, I just don't feel like it's really that fun at the end of the day. And you're going to play these games like a couple of times and for $50? Like, no way. I'm not paying $50 for that. And honestly, don't even bother with Super Bomberman R. It's apparently not very good either. So,
Here's a secret tip. Super Bomberman has never been that much fun. Like, it's always been kind of not a great game. That there have been a few that are like reasonably okay, but you were also 12 when you played them, and they came out in like 1994 or 97 with like the Saturn version of Bomberman. That was about it. Like, it's no.
yeah, no, certainly not. Yes, go ahead. Sorry, this is what happens when you're doing live podcasts. But hold on, go ahead and get into something. I gotta make sure she gets to her friend's house here.
Sure. The other thing I've been playing that is really dumb is what is it? Background Manager, like Background Desktop Manager. It's on Steam. It was $4. It just has a lot of cool backgrounds that are animated, which I actually enjoy, that are not like heavy CPU usage. So, and it has Steam Workshop support, which is kind of nice, even though it's 95% filled with anime at this point, which is annoying to go through. Well, it's called a Wallpaper Engine, that's right. But yeah, it's cool. I would enjoy it. I would recommend it, because some of the animated ones are like pretty nice, especially with background music or like cool effects. That's the enjoyable part, really. What else have I been playing? Let's see. I beat Regency Solitaire on hard mode because I was bored one night and I had no internet. Been playing like Binding of Isaac like usual. What else? I bought SWAT 4, and that's cool. And I shot one of my cops, and everyone shot me back, which is always funny.
That's always a good thing where you can shoot cops in a game. Don't have to worry about the repercussions.
Except for when you are a cop and they don't like that too much.
Nah, I'm pretty sure. That happened to you? You're playing against a cop?
No, I was with the cops. I just wanted to screw around.
So, getting into stuff that's going. I mean, speaking of the Switch, I guess since we're on that topic, the Switch did get hacked, and apparently there's some secret browser that it. So I'm trying to understand this. So the browser is what unlocks information about how to develop for it. Is that?
Well, the browser has exploits. It's not secured. People got into the browser like by some like iOS exploit or something like that. So, good job, Nintendo.
So why not? I mean, there's a lot of things that Nintendo didn't make very open to the public. So, I don't know if this is going to be something that they're going to bring out later, but
Well, I don't think they wanted to have a browser out for it at all. Like I think they have to because of how like their. I imagine that's how their store is built. Like it actually probably is a web browser that they're like loading into. That it's just not displayed like one. But yeah,
that's
it's also.
weird.
I mean, think about it. It's also how the Wii got hacked a lot, and I think even how the 3DS got hacked up a little too.
Yeah, I mean, doesn't surprise me, but I guess what's interesting is to see if they find anything else about the system. I mean, I think they said something about the streaming deal, which is supposed to come pretty soon, got found that way too. Which, okay, cool. It'd be nice if Nintendo was sort of reveal the next steps with the system, because I mean that's something that we kind of need to know. They also mentioned now that they are they are talking to Netflix and Hulu and all those places about having streaming video,
Yeah,
and
but I guess what's the point? Like most people carry at least three things on them at any time that can go streaming as it is.
well, but like for me, like I don't want to waste all the battery on my phone, so
Yeah, but your phone has
like
a better battery than the Switch.
yeah, we'll have to see how much it wastes when you are watching video, because obviously Zelda, 3 hours. The other stuff doesn't take up that much, but I mean, I'd like to just sit in bed and use it, or if you're somewhere and you want to use it for that. I think it's just a thing you kind of have to have at this point with any sort of deal. I don't think it's like a deal breaker. Nobody's buying a Switch for Netflix or whatever, but I do think that people's concerns about it or wanting it there, I think, are valid, and Nintendo kind of trying to sweep it under the rug and say, oh, this is a gaming machine. Yeah, it's a gaming machine. We get that. That's how all of your systems have been. But hell, on the Wii, you could watch Netflix. So I'm just saying, it's something that should be there. Maybe at some point it'll show up, but
Yeah, but think about also the Wii. Like they also announced at one point that DVD support is going to come to it, and it never did.
that was an interesting thing too. Like it was just like, okay, we're suddenly gonna have DVD support, or didn't they have certain ones that did? Maybe in Japan.
No. People hacked DVD support onto the thing like later on, but no, we officially had DVD support.
Oh, okay. I remember hearing about people watching it on there, going, "How the hell are you watching this? You shouldn't be able to."
Yeah.
I think the more interesting thing here is that Nintendo keeps talking about how they have the biggest success ever as a console, and that Zelda's the biggest selling standalone launch title ever, and even in Europe it's sold well, Australia, all this other stuff, but we've seen launch sales don't equal longevity. It's consistency throughout, however long the system lasts or whatever.
I think it's more curious. I think they said that it had a bigger launch than the Wii, and it's like yes, because you only made 6 Wiis. Like they didn't make a ton of Wiis when it launched, and that thing was out of scarcity for almost like a year and a half.
Yeah, I think they sold 600,000 Wiis.
Yeah.
At launch in the U.S. or whatever, and
like that,
yeah, just
that thing sold out pretty much instantly, and it was out for a year or a year and 2 months or year or two, and it's like, I mean, see how the Switch supply line is in 6 months. That'll be a good indicator of how well it's actually selling.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing, and I think right now too, you don't have a ton of games for it outside of Zelda. Obviously, Zelda's a huge system seller. It's a game you're going to be playing for a while, and they do have some things coming, but that's again an issue with Nintendo is okay, does this success mean that people are going to spend the money it costs, because apparently now the Switch is the most expensive console to develop for, because you have to be able to get it working in both docked and undocked. Is that going to get people like your big companies to make those games that you're used to seeing on systems?
Probably not.
I mean, for every okay, great that NBA 2K and FIFA are coming, but are EA gonna bother bringing Madden over? Are we gonna see any shooters or anything like that on it because of how much you have to lower your graphics, especially with the Pro and whatever the Scorpio's gonna do? Uh,
We're going to get the original version of Skyrim, it sounds like, so what more do you want?
yeah, that's the game. I mean, look, I'm sure there's crazy Skyrim people that might have a Switch and go, yeah, I want to put 100 more hours into this on the Switch. More power to you, but I'm not. I never really played Skyrim, and I'm not enthused about it either. So
You're better off.
yeah, I just and then plus you already have your Western RPG in Zelda anyway. So I mean, I don't I don't know that that's gonna totally satisfy some itch you really need at this point. I I just this is great news for Nintendo and everything, but I kind of think people should temper their expectations about this automatically means the Switch is a total success and that, it's going to wind up another Wii. It could wind up another Wii, or it could wind up another Wii U where support just dies.
I'm already leaning more towards the latter, unfortunately, but I guess we shall see.
I think it also depends on Nintendo, right? If they figured out a better way of distributing content throughout the year, and you got to be actually understanding too that the casual person is not going to be into all these indies that are going to come out, and are they going to be cool for us gamers and even hardcore gamers to a certain extent? They're still in that mold of I don't care about indies, I just want the AAA titles or the big name titles. Is that going to be enough to carry the system through? Whereas PS4, Xbox One, at least every week you've got something from a third party. That's not going to happen for Nintendo.
Well, don't worry. Once the hackers break it up, and they'll get a simulator on there sooner or later.
Yeah, don't worry about that virtual console. Just wait till the emulator comes. So, moving away from Switch talk here, there's a triple set of movies that have been announced or talked about by someone in the last time we've done, a podcast here. A Metal Gear movie has been talked about, and that it has a director, right? So,
yeah, so they say.
I mean, I know you're not totally enthused about it. You're a Metal Gear fan here, but I feel like it has a good enough story that and it seems like this director does have a love for Metal Gear, it could succeed.
I think that, well, there's two problems with Metal Gear. First off, that is a very insane story. And so trying to film it, it's also super involved. I gotta know what you crib from, if you still want to do Metal Gear Solid 1 or the original Metal Gear. That's an issue. And the other problem is who are they going to get to play as Snake? It's going to be Sam Worthington. No one cares about him.
I mean, that's
my problem with the other movie we're going to discuss in a minute too.
I mean, obviously that is the big thing, right? Who is going to play Snake? Is he going to kind of fit the same mold? Are you going to care about him in the same way? That's a whole different thing because obviously he's not going to have the same voice as David Hayter or whatever. So that's one thing. How much care, how much is Konami going to be involved? Is Kojima going to be involved in this at all? Is he even going to be allowed to consult Kojima? I could imagine like Konami like being like, if we hear that you're talking to Kojima at all, we will take you off this project immediately. But I mean, seriously, dog, seriously. Like he has to scratch his neck right behind me. But yeah, it's just there's a lot of factors in here. I think he already talked about certain enemies that he would have, the bosses or whatever that he would have made sure that are in the first movie, and that all sounds well and good. But it's these people can talk right now. Once it gets past a certain point, and you have to get into the big wigs, and Hollywood gets involved and everything else. It's what gets left on the cutting room floor, and is it still a good movie at the end?
Well, I just think about the Halo movie and the Bioshock.
Well, the Halo movie never got made. Both those never got made, though.
Well, where do you think I'm going with this?
Yeah, you think it's not getting made at all?
No, they've been talking about a Metal Gear movie since Metal Gear Solid came out. That was 20 years ago.
I mean, I would think that right now it has more credence to it than before, especially with, Kojima's not at the helm making sure there's a Metal Gear 6 coming out anytime soon. Konami's making that, whatever the hell that game is, with the Metal Gear name slapped on it.
Left 4 Dead?
Yeah, Left 4 like, you would think that Konami would actually try, now more than ever, to try to get something out of that franchise. If it becomes a hit movie, then, if they're not making any more games, they can keep making movies. But would you do an origin story with him, or would you just kind of do some kind of separate story that doesn't have anything to do with the games, or?
No, well, you can't. Metal Gear is pretty much the original, like the origin story to an extent, but there is no real origin for that character. Also, like. That's kind of the issue. Like, he just kind of sprang forth. I mean, there is a backstory, but it's not important. It's just like he joined the army at 18, and that's about it. I would honestly have no. I mean, you could do a film adaptation of like Metal Gear Solid, and that might work, but have explain none of the character at all.
I think that's fair. Yeah, you don't have to do this big old have a bunch of exposition on the character in the movie. Just try to make sure you have elements of it, and the game's already pretty cinematic itself. It's just making sure that you don't either make it too boring or just make it all actiony, and it's just got the Metal Gear name slapped on it.
It'll be like The Rock as Solid Snake.
Could you imagine? It'll just turn into Doom again. Oh. So there's a Sleeping Dogs movie announced, even though the studio that makes the game is no longer existing. Donnie Yen from Rogue One is going to be the main character, but there's no writer or director. I mean, I like Sleeping Dogs enough. I don't know about a movie, but okay.
I mean, it's just that. What was it? Boston. I mean, it's just like Covert Affairs. I think it was what it's called. The Departed was based on it. I forget what it's called, but.
Oh, okay. I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just that. I mean, except for the whole criminal becoming a cop aspect, it's just a cop becoming a criminal.
Yeah, I mean.
But it's still. I mean, it's a good enough story that it's fine.
Right, I mean, it does have the story that you could follow that character and kind of get into his psyche of what that's like and get into that world and the world of the triads and all that stuff,
I and hopefully Emma Stone can be in it for like 10 minutes like in the game.
Yeah, why not? You know, even though I don't know if they want to pay her a price tag or anything at this point, but you know, we'll have to see if again what Square Enix wants to do, or if they have any involvement in this at all.
Oh,
Now,
I think
go
they
ahead.
will because they're the only ones pushing for it probably.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like the Tomb Raider movie. That thing's moving forward. We'll have to see. You know, Just Cause also getting a movie. This one has Jason Momoa, which I already makes me not
Checked
want to
out.
see it.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's like what was Roman Reigns busy? Like you couldn't get the
yeah,
you,
let's get.
you couldn't get the least charismatic guy, so you got the second least
No, well,
charismatic guy
no.
in
I
the
mean,
world.
it would have to then be a WWE film in order to get Roman Reigns. So you know.
Yeah, I mean, say what you want about like Batista, but like he has charisma as as Drax. Like
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
Roman Reigns does not.
No. And Jason Momoa, you know, that's kind of difficult. This is a movie and a series that has to be carried by a charismatic guy because a lot of the game is just blowing crap up, which you know they make movies about that all the time. So that's not this movie wouldn't really be that hard to make because you have so many templates there for you. Just I don't know. I mean, is there really a story in Just Cause that it's just like, do you got to make sure you follow the game or?
Oh, the story is just. I mean, the nice thing compared to like at least Sleeping Dogs, or I mean, especially Metal Gear, is uh, Just Cause. You could leave it really open ended. It's like evil dictator has taken over like a country or whatever, and it's just up to Rico to stop him. And him and his trusty grapple hook. That's all you need. The problem is like Rico is a very like sarcastic character,
Mm-hmm.
and he's kind of like that Latin lover also type of character, and those are not things I associate with Jason Momoa. If you want a
Oh
dude
God, no.
who can be like a cigar store Indian, that is something I can associate with him. But charismatic or interesting or watchable, no. If you
So
want to fool women into getting their money to go see him, sure. But
so it's kind of like a Deadpool meets James Bond sort of thing.
I mean, kind of, but he's not that witty. Also, like he only comes up with like occasional like quippy lines, like, but he's not doing it like all over the place like Deadpool was. But yeah, I got a feeling that like that's not gonna go well. Like Sleeping Dogs would go well because like that guy fits into that. He can fit into that role. Like this one, no.
Yeah, that kind of leads me wondering with Jason Momoa what's going to happen here and how are they really just casting him because he's going to be Aquaman? I mean, I don't understand what plot he has that makes you go, okay, we're going to put him in a movie, people are going to come watch it. I mean, the director I think has more cachet with himself right now than Momoa does, but
Yeah, well, apparently they work together, so that might be why. But
okay.
it's not like a great reason, also.
No, it's not. Destiny, they have detailed some things about how you can, what transfers over with your character. You'll get a special veteran status, but
That's
aside
about
from
it.
gender and all the basic things, nothing else is going to transfer over from Destiny 1, which again, if they're really trying to make this Destiny 2, no attachment to Destiny 1 other than the name, it makes sense.
Yeah, but I can also see it ticking people off. Like, oh, I invested so much time in this character that now it's all useless. But
I wonder if, I know veteran Destiny players and people still playing Destiny are going to get upset, like they're going to want all that stuff with the character, but again, you got to understand that even though this is, yes, an MMO, they've stopped doing expansions, this is a brand new Destiny. They want new people to get into the game.
Yeah.
So you're gonna have to make that conceit if you want to keep playing. I mean, if that really bothers you enough to where you won't buy Destiny 2, then how much did you really care about the series in the first place? You know. I mean, would
Nope.
you give Destiny another shot?
I doubt it. I don't know. I didn't really like the first game that much. Like, it seemed like a competent enough shooter, but I didn't play with anyone, so that kind of, like, what was the point of it being online for me?
Right.
And also came into it late, so that was another issue. But
That was the thing for me too. I think it was just I found people online just playing, but it wasn't it was a fine shooter. Just the story wasn't there. I didn't like the fact that you had to go online to find things about it or whatever, and just
yeah,
yeah.
I think the Taken King thing fixed it a little, but it's still not that interesting to me. Like, between the two, I enjoyed, like, the Division a lot more because it was a lot more of a grounded story that I could be interested in.
I mean, the Division, I think, is what a year old now officially.
Yeah, they said they're getting the second season is going to be like all free or like mostly free or something, which is cool. But I don't know how much that's going to entice people back in.
Do you think that's mainly because of they really feel like they need to entice people back in that they're making it free? I mean, it seems like you would pay for a season 2, right?
Yeah, but with how screwed up the season 1 release schedule got, that
Are those expansions still coming out?
I think the third one like just launched.
Okay. Well, I
Which,
mean,
that came late. That was like it was supposed to come out last year, like pretty early, or like beginning of winter last year. So it only missed the mark by like 6 months.
are you still enjoying the game or?
No, I haven't played it in months.
Ah.
And when I tried, it was like the last time I tried, it was kind of weird because like you need to own this expansion to go in this room, and it's like, well, you need to put the expansion on sale so I can go into that room.
Right. That would make sense. So the PS4 firmware thing, which doesn't apply to me or to you really, but boost mode, I have seen that it does help PS4 games look better and run better. And if you have a PS4, this is only for PS4 Pro, right? You can use an external hard drive.
No, it's for any PS4.
Oh, okay, well that's cool. I mean, I already put in the 2 TB internal drive. I think I should be okay, but hey, if you've never upgraded your PS4's hard drive at all, now you don't have to fiddle with it on the inside. You can just put an external drive and get even more terabytes out of it. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
I need to get one of those sometime soon.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, for you, at least you have an 8 TB option if you want it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, even though that's pretty extreme, but hey, some people like to have it all available to them right there. So this thing with ZeniMax that we and John Carmack and Oculus and Facebook and all that stuff, I think we mentioned that this probably wasn't going to be over, and now it's not, as John Carmack is suing ZeniMax for $22.5 million related to when ZeniMax bought ID Software and basically, refuting all the allegations that ZeniMax made about John Carmack. I don't think John Carmack's probably going to win. I mean,
this is probably like him trying to save face because I think he got ran over the ground a little in the first lawsuit. Like he was like, I think he made a comment like, I'm pissed about, like, they didn't let me explain the computer science correctly, or like their computer science witnesses were like bad or something. So I think this is him trying to like get away from that. But I imagine like his contract is probably pretty clear about like when he would get money, when he would like not get money. and him getting fired, or like I think he didn't even get fired. He voluntarily left id to go work for Oculus. So why should he still expect money from him?
Yeah, exactly. And it's just, and it also kind of gives you, that's what opened the questions about, all right, well, what are you taking from id to go work for Oculus, and what are they learning,
Yeah.
So, it's, I can kind of understand ZeniMax's deal, and I just don't know. I think ZeniMax won, and they're probably going to wind up signing with them, especially after, ZeniMax has their more proof that they want to give.
There was something about this recently also where I think ZeniMax is trying to stop sales of the Oculus Rift.
Yeah, they are.
I don't think that'll work, but it's an interesting tactic, I would say.
I mean, obviously, right, they're trying to prevent Oculus Rift from getting any money from it, but, I think they're just going to have to make a concession that even though this thing's going to keep selling, I think, hey, at least you got your settlement money out of it, and just kind of be happy with that at that point. And, I mean, obviously, you want to make sure that John Carmack doesn't keep taking from you either, but that's another thing entirely. Like I said, this wasn't the greatest week for news, as it is. Christoph Ballestera is leaving Naughty Dog. He's retiring, actually. He is the co-president of Naughty Dog since 2002. He's been with the company 15 years, and, these things happen.
Yeah.
Sad for Naughty Dog, but they still got Evan Wells is still with them, and I think at this point Naughty Dog kind of knows what it's doing, so.
I would hope.
I mean, their proof is there, so we don't have to hope too much, I guess. An interesting thing Harmonix has been announcing various things from PAX. They always announce things at PAX every year at PAX East. That not only are they coming out with Rock Band VR in a couple of weeks, which, okay, that looks
bad.
Like whatever. Yeah, there's not even a band aspect. It's all single player. Yeah, it doesn't look good.
They seem increasingly desperate for Rock Band, and it is not looking.
I think more it's like they're just trying to do anything to get into a different market that's not Rock Band, honestly. I feel like they don't want to just be stuck with the only thing we're able to do is Rock Band 4. They want to do something else, because Amplitude pretty much, that failed. Rock Band VR is, how many people that have an Oculus still have one of the old guitars, or just want to really go out there and buy this with it? The new guitar thing comes with it, but it's like, do you really want to go out there and buy this? Probably not. And it's just, you're losing the band aspect, which that's part of the game. For any kind of casual, they're not going to really want to play that by themselves. So I just don't. I don't understand the point of it, other than, okay, well, maybe you needed different partnerships to be able to get more DLC into the Rock Band 4 game, and that's what you're doing. But it just doesn't make sense. The same thing with this deal with Hasbro with this new game called Dropmix, which it's an actual, it's a board that is connected through an iOS and Android app, so it's not even on a system, which seems weird. This also seems like a game that would be great on the Switch, but, obviously iOS and Android is much easier to develop for at this point. The thing that worries me, this kind of seems cool and all, but, just, I don't know.
Well,
like for one, $99.
Yeah, I was going to mention that. Like the price is $100 for this thing, and that's a lot. And like, what is? I think the goal of the game is to get like 21 points or something. But it's like, how is that fun?
Well, I mean, that's the thing too. There's not the direct playing with something like you get with Rock Band, like you got with DJ Hero with the disc thing. It's just even with Rock Band Blitz, there's still this whole you're playing with the controller and all that, and you're making music. It's cool that, okay, well, I put down a card and it plays a part of the song, and then you're basically making a mixtape with different cards until you get to 21. And it's great that the song never sounds weird and all, but this just seems like something you'd play a couple of times and then, okay, whatever. It's cool, and then it's like, okay, whatever. It doesn't feel like this thing that I want to get hooked on and play for hours and hours. And are you really going to spend $100 on what is a glorified board game?
Well, those people will, but because they're nuts. But most normal people, no.
And the card packs are anywhere from $5 to $15. I mean, I get it that you get songs in them and part of the technology is there, but the technology might be as cool as whatever, but doesn't mean that it's going to translate to sales,
Well, like I said, this goes back to my point earlier about, like, Harmonix seems, like, really desperate. Like, remember their Chroma game that they were going to make a few years ago? Like, that went nowhere. Amplitude failed. Like, Rock Band 4, I mean, you like it, but it's a failure, really.
I think, for what they wanted Rock Band 4 to be for the hardcore audience, it's fine. It failed in trying to grab anybody outside of that. And that's,
if the hardcore audience is only like 40,000 people, like, that's not great.
No, you're right, it's not.
Their PC Kickstarter failed for, like, the PC version of that game, and, like, I just don't know. I don't think, unless something like really drastic happens, I don't think Harmonix is going to be around for in the next 5 years.
I agree with you. I mean, it took them 2 years to finally add a semblance of online play, and it's still missing a bunch of features that you would have in any kind of online game at this point. And it's just, I still feel like they're trying to branch out just to have their name in other things and keep themselves relevant. And more power to them for wanting to expand their horizons, I guess. But I just feel like it's another one of these you're wasting money, because I think that they feel like there's only so much you can innovate, Rock Band. Right? Yeah. So in order for them to feel like there's still a studio that's doing something besides just putting DLC out, they have to do stuff like this. And it ends up being wasted money.
What they could do is put full motion video backgrounds in Rock Band.
Yeah, so nobody will look at them while they stare at the key.
Start making some more iToy games for the PS4 camera.
Oh man, people still like those things. So I remember the card game. That looked pretty cool. That was the only thing that ever sort of interested me at all about that. So GameStop has brought back their Pro Gaming Pass, which it's set up for, I think, like 6 different games, 2 of them being Nier and Mass Effect, the others not being such big games. You get $10 off the game if you buy this Pro Gaming Pass, which I think this Pro Gaming Pass also costs you $10.
Yep.
Doesn't it? Okay, so, I think it's, if you already have their Pro member thing, it's with it? It comes with it, right? Or is it?
I didn't actually see that. I don't know if it does or not. Like, they didn't seem that way to me, but you never know.
I mean, because the Best Buy thing, you have to buy that separately.
Yeah.
And that lasts. It's like what, $40 or $30 or
Something
whatever it
like
is.
that. Yeah.
And the GameStop Pro member thing is like $15, and you also get the Game Informer for a year. And then but and then you also get the discount on the games and discounts when you trade in and stuff like that. So this is more of that. Honestly, if you have to pay separately for this, I think getting $10 off a month of a game is not worth it. If you already had the Pro membership and it comes with that, then okay, cool. I think it's a nice little incentive. But the thing is, it sucks is you have to go to the store and there has to be a physical version there available for you. Because if not, you have to go start traveling around to other GameStops to see if they have one. Because you cannot just buy a download code and put in your Pro Member account and get the $10 off. You have to buy the physical version of the game. So
Yeah, the way this sounds to me is it's an extra thing on top of being a Power Up Pro member. Because it says, what is it? Let's see. Are you a GameStop Power Up Rewards member thinking of becoming one? And this might sweeten the pot. Like, this is the new Power Up Rewards Spring Pro Gaming Pass. So that sounds like an extra $10 on top of their Pro membership as it is. So, fuck that.
well, but if you had it, wait, but so you're saying you have to pay or you have to?
It sounds like you have to pay.
Well, that seems silly to have to pay more to get the $10 off. Like, why? Just
yeah. A way for Power Up Rewards members to save money is by buying this $10 pass. But if you're already paying to be a Power Up Rewards member, so...
great, so I pay for the $10 off for one game, but what if aside from Mass Effect, what if I don't want the other 3 games? Then I just wasted the money for the $10 off. I mean...
How could you not want Sniper Ghost Warrior 3?
The other 2 games, I don't think I've even heard of them. What... Are you seeing the list in front of me?
Yeah, there's Nier, Mass Effect, Sniper Ghost Warrior, Prey, and and Elder Scrolls Online Morrowind.
For one, like, why... Hold on. Like, if you are even playing Elder Scrolls Online, like, why the hell would you buy it through GameStop? And
yeah.
Number 2, like, okay, I get it. Like, Prey is hopefully going to be a good game and everything. But... I don't know. This just...
I'm happier with Amazon because I get free shipping also. And it's delivered like the day of.
Right, yeah. So, I mean, look, I understand GameStop has to try everything they possibly can to get people to pay for things, with things becoming ever increasingly digital and all that, and that's fine. Just when they come up with things like this, I wonder sometimes, honestly. So I think the last thing we haven't talked about is they did release the voice cast for Guardians of the Galaxy. It's, the Telltale one. I mean, they all feel that Nolan North being in there almost seems like a given at this point. What is he not in? Adam Harrington, Brandon Paula, Emily O'Brien, Scott. I mean, that's cool. I think I'm gonna care more once I hear them in game and play episode 1 and stuff, but it's cool that they got a nice voice cast.
Except for Nolan North, I never heard of any of these people.
Yeah. I feel like Adam Harrington rings a bell, but
Well, they listed him as some being from like the Wolf Among Us, and I think he might have been the main character to that game.
Yeah.
But it's still not like a great, like, okay, who are you?
Right.
Yeah, he was the main character, so... I mean, he was good in that game, but...
You'd assume he doesn't have the same voice. And, I mean, he's also playing Groot, so, I mean, what... He's just gonna say, I am Groot, the whole time, so...
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
It'd actually be cool if every episode was from a different character's perspective.
I would hope that that's what it is too. I know they outlined some of the story stuff, but we'll have to see once that comes out how they're gonna do this. But
Like, I'll just buy the
apparently they're also introducing a new character that's only been in the comics.
I'll just
So
buy the Groot character and then or the Groot story episode, and then I'll be happy.
there you go. Don't have to hear too much verbiage coming out there. So there's a Steven Universe RPG coming. I don't know if you're a big Steven Universe person or not, but
Nope.
the show's all right. I mean, it looks interesting. Good that it's coming to PS4 and all, but hey, why not? Um, there is the amount of games coming out are not huge either. You got Danganronpa 1-2 Reload, which I'm reviewing currently, and White Day, a Labyrinth named School, which I have no idea what that is.
Yeah.
There's a few other things, but like it's a bunch of it's just indie stuff. There's not a huge game coming out this week. Of course, next week, Mass Effect Andromeda. So I'm sure everybody is raring to go buy. Are you gonna get Mass Effect
No,
Andromeda?
I'd like to, but I have to save it for Persona 5 rather. So
Yeah, that's right around the corner too, April 4th. So
I'm saving up for that and Puyo Puyo Tetris, the two biggest games of the year. So
exactly. At least you get like almost a month apart on those. So
and at
there
least
you
Puyo
go.
Puyo is only $30.
Yeah. I think they said 30 for PS4, and then somehow for some reason on the Switch it's 40. That seems
Well, because they have to develop for it. Like it's actually a new thing. So it's actually fine for me. Like it makes sense, kind of.
yeah.
I mean, you don't like it, but you're not gonna get that game anyway. It doesn't sound like so.
I might. It just I don't know if I'm paying $40 for it, but you know. I like me some Tetris, and watching you play Puyo Puyo, it looks more interesting than the others.
It's hard. Like that's the thing.
Well, hey, it's a nice game to pick up and play when you just want 10 minutes or something.
Yeah, like that actually be a good. See, the thing is, that'd be a good like Switch game for sure.
Yeah, there you go. See, I mean, hey, Nintendo sold the Game Boy with Tetris. Why not do it again with Puyo Puyo? So
You can go import the Vita version.
very, very true. Could do that. You could play the Japanese demo on their eShop or whatever. Apparently, you can like download demos just fine, but when you have to buy stuff, you have to go get point cards because it won't let you just buy. It won't convert it from yen to dollars.
Yeah, the PS4 is like that also, though. So
I guess it's to protect you and stuff. That's fine. But yeah, I think that's gonna do it for us here on this week, talking about video games. Hopefully, you are enjoying your time with the Switch or Zelda or Horizon Zero Dawn or something. And there'll be more big games coming around the corner. So until next week or so, we will see you then, everybody.
later.
The following podcast is a W2M Network original production. Visit W2Mnet.com for all of our other great podcasts, plus news, reviews, articles, and opinions from the worlds of wrestling, video games, football, and entertainment.